also graduated from the University of Oklahoma Economic Development Institute, Hobart Technical Center, and Lincoln Welding School. He taught welding at Pocahontas County before he was elected to the Pocahontas County School Board, where he served for 10 years. He's also served in the West Virginia House of Delegates and the West Virginia Senate, where he served on various committees helping West Virginians. Now he's been elected the Commissioner of Agriculture, where he wants to help all of us. And you'll give a warm voice day welcome to the Commissioner of Agriculture.
Give me your attention for about an hour and a half, and I'll let you go. Otherwise, I'll talk 2 or 3 hours. No, not just, not quite that long. Now, I do appreciate the opportunity to talk with you folks. You've been chosen because of your leadership ability. Someone sees leadership ability, and you need to carry that, obviously, to the next level. I was talking to a young lady beside me down in Nitro, West Virginia, Kanawha County, and she's heading up a group called Inspire. So I would suggest that you take her presentation there and listen and digest what she has to say. She's going to do that later this evening, I'm told. Someone once said that life is a stage and we all must play a part. And you know, I heard that when I was a kid, many, many years ago. And I say many, many years ago because you can tell from home my hair has been so long. That's when I was in Webster County. Then I moved across the hill to Pocahontas County, and I listened to that. Life is a stage, and we all must play a part. And so I knew that I had a part to play, as each one of you do. You have a part to play in life, but you have to get those basics down. One of the most important things that I've learned over the years is to be truthful. And also looked up the word truth. And what really is truth? Truth is a divine attribute and the foundation of every person. You follow that through life, and you'll see that there's much to be gained by on every occasion. Being truthful, being aggressive, and accepting challenges. And challenges is the thing that moves you forward. In my life, I was challenged as a kid when I was a Wildcat in Webster Springs. I was captain of the football team many, many years ago. My football coach passed away here recently, Joe Talbot. Prior to him, it was Mr. A. James Manson who was the coach with us at Webster. So, you know, I learned from each one of those individuals. And that's what I would suggest that you folks do. You challenge yourself, but you learn from situations, you learn from individuals. And in my case, I learned from my family, but I also learned a great deal from my teachers and from my community. There's some type of saying that says it takes a community to raise a child. I think we've kind of gotten away from that, but it truly does. It takes a number of people that can influence your lives. And so look at those people. Ask them the question that's necessary for you to move forward. Whatever you're doing, whatever stage in life that you occupy, you challenge yourself to go to the next level. Being aggressive and always being truthful in your efforts. And in the introduction, the young lady said that I'd been elected to the Board of Education in Pocahontas County because I wanted to be on that board. I resigned from a good position at Pocahontas County High School as a teacher, and then I immediately pursued being on the Board of Education because I wanted change, and I wanted meaningful change. I wanted change in my life, but for my kids as well, and for the children in that community called Pocahontas County. And I asked them over time, many times when I was on the Board of Education, I would ask the other board members, I would ask the school teachers, you know, what is really, and I know many of you are athletes in here, And that's great. That'll help develop your character, and it'll challenge you. It's challenging you now as individuals and as a group. So it challenges you individually, it challenges you collectively. But I asked one gentleman who was much older than I was, again, when I was on the Board of Education, who is truly, from this count, a student athlete? Because we've gotten away from the thing. We see it at WVU, we see it at Oklahoma. I attended the University of Oklahoma, I attended West Virginia University, and then graduated from West Virginia State. But wherever I was at, and I like those things. I wanted to be a welder. And I was a welder. And to be honest with you, I'm not bragging, but I was a pretty good one. I became an instructor. I went to Hobart Technical Center and Lincoln Welding School. But I said, who truly is a student? Give me an example of a student athlete. Now, not many of you folks will remember this. Your parents will, your grandparents will remember this name. But we had a gentleman at WVU who was a consensus All-American. We've had 5 at West Virginia University in football. We've had 5 consensus athletic All-Americans. But this gentleman was a consensus All-American in football, and he was also a consensus All-American academically with a degree in chemical engineering. And he was from a little place called Durban, West Virginia, in northern Pocahontas County. His name was Bruce Bowser. And then he went on to play many years with the San Francisco 49ers, All-Pro, 4 different times, 2 different positions. But then after he graduated, he from high school and went on to play with San Francisco, he could see other things he wanted to do in life. And if you read the story of Bruce Bowser, and there's a film that the NFL has. They have NFL films. One of them is on this gentleman I'm talking about, Bruce Bowser. Bruce wanted to do other things. Now here's a guy that's back in 1955, was 6'3", 250 pounds. Well, most people, as we know, my friend, was not nearly that big in those days. A lineman at West Virginia University who weighed 200 pounds, they were big people. In any event, he became head of the Actors Guild in San Francisco. So he was cultured. Even though he was from West Virginia and a very, very small community in West Virginia, he challenged himself. He was head of the Actors Guild. He was also head of the Light Opera. And the night that he passed away, he was head of San Francisco's United Way efforts. And he was speaking to a crowd of about 1,000 people. And so he was truly a student athlete. And I would suggest to you that you pursue those goals of yours and become, if you're an athlete, put the student first. Because the athlete, in most cases, will dissipate, won't be around for that many years, but being a good person, being a person who challenges themselves, who challenges not only themselves, but challenges the community. And when I moved on from the Board of Education, where we built 3 new schools, moved on to the County Commission. And I was there a number of years, elected 3 different times to the County Commission. But we built a new hospital, we built a landfill. But we had to challenge, we had to build a consensus. You cannot do it by yourself. Yes, you can do it, but you can do it not by yourself. By building consensus, working with folks, and that's what this is all about and what you're doing here this afternoon. And this week that you're here for the state. Many, many have come before you, and many, many will come after. But you focus on what you're doing now, you focus on yourself and the challenge that's out there. And when I went to that House of Delegates, I looked down and said, whoa, I've made a mistake. When I was president of the County Commission for 10 consecutive years. 10 consecutive years. And I could build a new hospital if I wanted to. I had to build a consensus, and we did. I used to turn my eye, but in the end, it became we did. It took one more vote, because on the County Commission of West Virginia, you have 3 people. I was 1/3 of them. And then I gave up on the County Commission because there was not the challenge that I wanted. I thought the challenge was in Charleston. I'd go from Pocahontas County. I had my own business, was doing fairly well. I would go to Charleston to make a difference there. That's much more difficult. And so I suggest to you that you put effort in the locality wherever you live. If you stay in West Virginia, and I certainly hope you do, and hopefully you'll make this a better state, you'll work diligently to make your community better, to make the state better. But I couldn't do what I wanted to do in a house. But a break occurred. I got to go to the Senate, and then I ran 6 4-year terms. And so I was there 24 years. Before I ran for Commissioner of Agriculture, which is statewide, running from a very small county. And so you don't have a real strong base to run from. But that was home. Webster was home. Pocahontas is home. I've been in Pocahontas County 44 years now. And I've enjoyed every day of it. And certainly appreciated the opportunity that I got when I was there in that county. So I've seen many, many changes over the years, but it always comes down to challenging yourself to move to the next level. And when I was in the Senate, I was fortunate enough to be chair of the Senate Finance Committee for a decade. Now, 3 of us have done that. Oshel Crago, who owns Tudor's Biscuit World, he was there prior to me being chair of finance, and the current governor, Earl A. Thomas. Those folks knew the finances of West Virginia. They knew the problems. Now those problems are many today, and we solve those problems. But again, we tried to build a consensus to address them. We haven't done the job that we need to do. Hopefully you folks can take it to the next level, and that you will do it, wherever you're at. If you're in Alaska, you will meet friends there. I was up in Alaska to a meeting like a few years ago. Went to the Presbyterian Church, my wife and I. And so the preachers asked, is there anybody from out of state? And Rita got up. My wife, she gets up. She's a lawyer. She likes to talk. And so anyway, she gets up and she says, yes, we're from West Virginia. And some other people from other parts of Alaska and a couple other states, not many, there's 3 or 4 of us that said we were from somewhere else, but that we were, indeed, my wife and I were from West Virginia. The lady right in front of me, she turns around and she says, now we're in Anchorage, and she says, what part of West Virginia are you from? And I said, you won't know. We're from a little place called Minnehaha Springs in Pocahontas County. Oh, she says, I know a lot about it. She said, I ski and snowshoe from time to time. And she said, I'm from West Virginia. I said, where from? Idaho. Now, West Virginia has these funny names, but I'm sure there's people in this room that know where Idaho is. And she said, I am from Idaho, West Virginia. And so I struck up a conversation with her. She drove us back to the motel. We didn't have to walk back. She drove us back to the motel where we were staying. The next morning, we had a conversation. And I thought the gentleman that was speaking was someone I knew. And so, after he got through talking, I just eased over. There's 300 or 400 of us in the ballroom there in Anchorage. So I moved over to the side and caught him. He said, Walt Helmick, he said, I knew you would be here. He said, I looked at the agenda that you were coming from West Virginia. And he said, you know who I am? And I said, I think so. He said, yeah, I'm Bill from Elkins, West Virginia. I said, what do you do? Now, I'd asked the lady, what do you do here in Alaska? I say this because they have demonstrated leadership throughout wherever. You wouldn't think you'd see in Alaska. The lady says, I'm Director of Transportation for the state of Alaska. How did you get here? I married a gentleman who was in the military. He brought me here. But she had done well. And I'm so very proud of the fact that she had. And then the gentleman that I was talking with, I said, what are you doing here? He said, I'm head of behavioral health services for the state of Alaska. 2 West Virginians that were there, made a difference, but they were challenged, I'm sure, each step of the way up. As we've all been challenged. You've already been challenged. You will be challenged. You will go to the next level. You'll look back, and each night you'll think, you know, what could I have done better? And you need to do this. You'll never be bored. Just be aggressive. Take it to the next level. But always remember that you've got to build a consensus. Very little that you can do when you just simply say, I. The word is we. Stay away from those things that will determine your life. And they're out there all over this thing. Again, talking with the young lady from Nitro, I asked her the question while we were eating. What county has the highest dropout rate in West Virginia? She didn't know, and I didn't expect her to really. You would assume it would be some of the southern counties, McDowell, Mingo, Wyoming, Logan, or Boone, where we see a significant decline in coal. It's not. It's Kanawha. Kanawha County. 30%. Who is second? What county would be second with the highest dropout rate? No, it's not Webster. It's Cabell. Now, why would that be? Why would that be that where you have Huntington and Charleston are two largest cities in West Virginia located? It's because of the influence you all know. It's a drug issue. Those things have determined the life, they've determined the future, they've determined who you are as a person. You cannot allow that to happen. You cannot allow that to happen. You have to make a decision, you have to build a consensus among the community to help with that issue. Because at the end of the day, you're more than that. And again, I will conclude with saying, yes, life is a stage, and we all must play a part. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
opportunity to present to you guys later at the assemblies. We are an organization called Inspire West Virginia, and we're working with juniors and seniors in high school on civic engagement projects and voter registration. So right now, what we want to offer to you guys is anyone out there going to be 18 by November 4th? So right now we're going to have a booth set up, and we're just quickly going to announce this. We have a booth right outside of the cafeteria set up for you all to come and to register to vote. All you need is either your license number or the last 4 digits in your social. And if you're not eligible yet, we encourage students to pledge to register, so you're promising that you will register when you do turn 18. It's something that our organization encourages students to do. So if you want to come see us during the free time, you can come. We'll be right out here